Hello everybody, and welcome back to Minechats. Today's goal is going to be acquiring 6 blaze rods to, of course, craft Eyes of Ender. For those of you that are just joining us, I am playing in 1.7.10. And today's topic is going to be pacifism. But as a lot of you know, I can't fucking play the game and talk at the same time. So let me lock in real quick and get all the shit I need to do the shit that I need to do. Okay. I should get lava in this bucket. And now, let's go out of the cave. So today we're talking about pacifism. And the reason I want to talk about this is because we live in a very, how do I say it, struggling time? Some might point to today's problems and say that we are approaching a revolution, especially with the most recent news about a guy burning down a warehouse.
You know, we may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to fucking live.
So obviously, you hear a lot of people with reputations on the line. Oh fuck, mobs. Run. That's right. That's right. This is just blaze practice, baby. Yeah, they can't hit me. So a lot of people with reputations on the line love to say, violence is never the answer. Violence is never the answer. And to be honest with you guys, that statement has always kind of pissed me off. Another win for pacifism. Well, how could such a non-controversial statement piss you off, Caleb? How is saying something is correct, as violence is never the answer, piss you off? Look, I am somebody that believes human life is inherently valuable. Inherently. That doesn't mean that every human's life is valuable. And I want to run you through a couple hypotheticals. First, let's talk about the trolley problem. The classic. But first, before we talk about the fucking trolley problem, let me figure out how I'm supposed to make obsidian again. I don't know if it's like lava on the source of water, or if that makes cobblestone, or... I think that's making stone, I think. So is it water on lava? Okay, here, let's do this. So it's the source. So actually I should be taking buckets of water to the lava, shouldn't I be? I'm gonna need, what, fucking 12 of these? I'm gonna make more buckets. That's what I'm gonna do. To me, when it comes to pacifism, pacifism has always seemed to me like the lazy argument. Or not necessarily the lazy argument, but like the self-important argument. Violence is never the answer, or I would never resort to violence. Why? Because it's the easiest thing to say. It's the easiest idea to have without facing any moral judgment. It's the moral equivalent of playing it safe. Disregarding any nuance at all, it seems like it is the correct response. But if you look at the trolley problem, pacifism would have you not touch that lever. Oh. Well, don't I feel like a dingus? If you think about it in the context of the trolley problem... Sorry, I'm hearing...
Do you hear the people singing a song of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again.
And we've got everything, including a bunch of buckets that we don't need, and we're also starving to death, so I think we need to go get food. Anyway, if we think of pacifism through the context of the trolley problem, pacifism would have us not touch the lever and let the trolley kill the 3 people, or 4 people, I forget how many it was. Now, forgive me for treating it so simply, but this is the wrong thing to do. And I'll tell you why. What reason would you have for not pulling that lever? I'll let you think about it. Because the only reason I can see why somebody would pull the lever is because they don't want to have the responsibility of killing somebody. They don't want to feel the guilt of knowing that they're the ones that are responsible for killing that one person. That their actions... Oh, fuck. I should kill that fucker. Okay, fine. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, wait. No, I'm starving. Yeah, we'll just let him be. Ooh, I don't know if you can hear those chickens in the background. I hope you can't, but you probably can. Yeah, I desperately need to go get food. They don't want to feel the guilt of knowing that their actions are the ones that led to the death of a person, even though they saved 3 people. And that is selfish. That is acting in your own self-interest. You don't want the responsibility of doing it, and therefore you let 2 additional people die when you didn't need to, because how it made you feel. It's selfish. And that's kind of what pacifism is. You don't want to take lives... Oh, fuck. I'm in a predicament. You don't want to take lives, even if it would save lives, because you want to be morally correct here. Wait, what if I just put all my stuff in a chest and then died? And then problem solved, I'm not hungry anymore. I'm fucking genius. Let me ask you something though. Is pulling that lever you murdering that person? Or is it whoever put them on the tracks that's murdering them? I'll get back to that. But now I want to put you through a different trolley problem. There is one person on the bottom track, and then their twin is on the top track. Okay, then I won't miss any of this.
What you say? That you only meant well, cause you did. What you say?
Fucking genius. So yeah, almost identical people. One on the bottom track, one on the top track. Are you pulling that lever? Now, I could be wrong, but I think most people would do what I would do and not touch that lever. Unless you just want the thrill of the kill. Of course, I guess there are some people out there that would like to pull the lever and then tell the bottom twin, hey, I just saved your life. Now you're in debt to me, and you're going to have to work to pay it off. But of course, I'm not trying to take into account those people because this is a conversation of morality, and that is, of course, immoral. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't make a difference whether or not you pull the lever, so why would you? You don't pull the lever. At least, I wouldn't. I can't speak for everybody. If somebody would pull the lever for legitimate moral reasons, let me know what your reasoning is, you fucking freak. But now let's take into let's say top track. We leave that guy there. It's the same guy, but the bottom track is a baby. Is a little freaking baby. All right, maybe a toddler. Doesn't matter. Pick your pick a child, a little teeny tiny little child. Again, I can't speak for all of us, and you might actually have some good reasons for not, but in this scenario, I would pull the lever, I would save the child. And we'll touch on this again later. But now let's do another little hypothetical here. Bottom track, same guy as before, one of the twins. But on the top track is a rapist. And again, can't speak for everybody here, but I would pull the lever. I'd probably let the rapist die as opposed to somebody that's probably a pretty okay guy, right? I hope it's safe to assume that everybody watching this would also pull the lever. But what does this say? What does this problem prove? Why would you pull the lever to save a child or to kill a rapist, even if it's an even exchange, one life for one life? Well, it proves that some people's lives are more valuable than others. I am such a fucking idiot. I had armor. Oh. Okay. Fucking so stupid, bro. I thought about drowning myself, but I was like, no, that'd take too long. Would have been able to go back and get the fucking armor. Alright. Okay, so this trolley problem proves that some people's lives are more valuable than the other. So what is the measure of that value? Why is the normal person's life more valuable to the rapist, other than stating the obvious. I believe that a human's worth is tied to their morality. That is why when we talk about kids, for example, their life tends to be more valuable. It's not necessarily because their lives have more years ahead of them, although that is a factor. You know, like if it was an old person with one foot out the door and it was a brand new baby, you'd probably save the new baby. But youth aside, it's safe to say that the reason we feel so deeply about kids isn't just because they're young, but because they're so innocent. Because they have not had time to develop their flaws. All right, let's go. Let's build a portal over there. Oh my fucking god, okay. Leather is useless, is it not? What do I use leather for?
Leather is an incredible material that has been used throughout history for clothing and tools. During each period in history, cultures around the world have found valuable uses for leather in their daily lives. Leather has been used for thousands of years as a protective and useful material.
When the crew of the infamous pirate Sir Henry Morgan was starving, they ate leather.
You'll see as Brady slides up.
Leather armor, boots, satchels, tents, riding surfaces, harnesses, and jewelry. Mass-produced leather shoes, gloves, jackets, and bags.
Fucking cows are... That's fine. To further prove my point, actually, I want to say, let's take, for example, a trolley problem with an old person with cancer and a young person with cancer, like a toddler with cancer. They both have a year to live, regardless. Or you're still probably saving the kid. Therefore, boom. Morality argument completed. At least I would save the kid. I guess, you know, I wouldn't know what you would do. You fucking monster. So let's apply all that we've learned to a real world scenario. All right? Let's talk about how Luigi Mangione allegedly shot Brian Thompson. Did he murder Brian Thompson, or did he simply pull the lever? Is he the murderer, or is the structure that was set up by and for people like Brian Thompson the actual murderer? And then they say, oh, violence is never the answer. Violence is never the answer. But I think it's safe to assume we have just hypothetically proven why it is sometimes the answer. This looks wrong. Is it supposed to be 4? Oh. Ah. That still looks wrong, doesn't that? Is this how it always looked? Am I crazy? Whatever. I'm not going to argue with it. Here we go. Okay, now we need to find the fortress. Mysterious stranger. But if you're not convinced, you're sitting there thinking, actually, Caleb, you're fucking stupid. You're fucking stupid and wrong. Violence is never the answer, okay? Caleb, you're an idiot, and I don't see how your trolley problems correlate to the real world. That's you. That's how you sound. Just a flying whiny squid baby. Well, I want to talk about the pacifists of the past. And I will start with everybody's favorite MLK. Now, I'm not going to dwell too long on MLK. And I just want to state, for the record, I absolutely in no way saying that I have some sort of problem with MLK or that his methods were wrong. I mean, of course, MLK was an important figure. Great guy, I'm sure. But the reason I don't want to spend too much time on him is because it's been said so many times before when this conversation has come up, and that is that the civil rights movement as a whole was not done peacefully. MLK was one person, one figure within the civil rights movement. And even if you look at MLK by himself, right, if you just take into account MLK because you believe he single-handedly arm wrestled racism and won. Oh, there's a fucking gas. You're gonna interrupt my fucking shit again. I'm just walking in circles like a fucking idiot because I don't want to... Oh. Are those the pillars? I think it's over there. But even MLK's protests were disruptive and at the time considered violent. Like, we only look back in hindsight about how non-violent he was because civil rights are like such a given at this point. I should have brought a fucking pickaxe. Why didn't I bring a fucking pickaxe? I am that dense, ain't I? Did I lose the portal? Am I stuck here forever? Anyway, MLK's protests weren't like overtly violent, you know. They weren't going around shooting cops or anything, but they were definitely disruptive. Oh, here it is. Okay. Ugh. He just had to be right there, didn't he? Just let me get on land. Just let me get on land. Bro, what am I even supposed to... Yeah, forget him. I can't forget him. I can't fucking forget this guy. Did zombie go through the portal? That's really funny. Yeah, they sure did. Welcome to hell. Fortress is that way, I think. But I want to talk about another certain pacifist. One often compared to MLK. I'm sorry, these gas are fucking annoying as fuck, dude. It's already hard to focus on trying to talk and play the game at the same time. These fucking ghasts make it like 20 times more difficult. I wish there was a way I could mute just ghast sounds. While I'm here, I'm gonna turn down sounds. Oh, what? That is a thing I could turn down. Is that a mod? Whatever. They're still so fucking loud. Are they friendly until they attack me? Is that why? Yeah, I should just turn the master volume down. Okay, so I'm not trying to say that Gandhi was an immoral person. I know some people have their own reasons to believe so. Ooh, a chest. Oh. Oh my god. Oh, maybe we're not ready. We should have brought water. Okay, we're gonna need to strategically fight these things. What's in this chest? I'll take it. Playing peekaboo. Got one of 6. Oh, fuck. Halfway there. Gandhi is obviously rightfully credited with liberating India from British's colonial rule. But let me ask you something. If you were the big bad British government and you caught wind that Gandhi was peacefully starving himself until you released your grasp on India, would you be thinking, oh my god, Gandhi's starving himself? What are we doing? I guess we're the monsters after all. Alright, fine. India, you can have your freedom. Probably didn't go like that, if I had to guess. I'm not a historian. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, historians. But I believe the British Empire was scared that if Gandhi starved himself, there was going to be a violent uprising. Therefore, even though Gandhi's protests within themselves were peaceful, it is the threat of violence that actually liberated India. Oh, fuck. Okay. This is exactly what we want. But it's scary to see. Okay. Any second now. Oh. Okay. Somehow walked into that trap. Okay. They have high ground. They have high ground. Oh, God. No! That motherfucker didn't even drop anything. Why did it spawn right there? That was uncalled for and mean. Oh, it's inching its ass over here. There's getting to be way too many of them. Give me that. Give me that. Oh, fuck. Wait, cheating? I just need one more. And I got it. Let's get the fuck out of here. So yeah, I'm not here to attack Gandhi's actions, just his ideology. Because again, he wouldn't have freed India if it wasn't for the threat of violence. So let's talk about some of his actions during World War II. First, I'm going to read you a letter he wrote to Hitler, and then I'm going to read you a letter he wrote to the German people facing the Nazis. Or I don't know if they were the German people specifically, but, you know, his solution to Nazi occupation. And I'm going to read you all this in editing because I don't know it off the top of my head, and I gotta go fucking find the portal somehow and hopefully not die. So I'm gonna lock the fuck in. Rest assured, I am not going to be doing a Gandhi impression. Alright, so this is Gandhi's letter to Hitler. Dear friend, strong start. Friends have been urging me to write to you for the sake of humanity, but I have resisted their request because of the feeling that any letter from me would be an impertinence. Something tells me that I must not calculate, and that I must make my appeal for whatever it may be worth. It is quite clear that you are today the one person in the world who can prevent a war which may reduce humanity to the savage state. May you pay that price for an object, however worthy it may appear to you to be. That was a mouthful. Will you listen to the appeal of one who has deliberately shunned the method of war? Not without considerable success. Anyway, I anticipate your forgiveness if I have erred in writing to you. I remain your sincere friend. So it looks like Gandhi took the strongly worded letter approach. An approach which, as you know, works 9 times out of 10. So it's safe to assume that this letter actually would have ended World War II had the British not intercepted it. They were still salty about the whole liberating India thing. Now, I know that the letter was written pretty elegantly, so for all of my more illiterate viewers out there, let me translate it to you. Dear Hitler, please stop the war. What you're doing is mean. War is bad. Hitler, please stop. Did you get all that? So yeah, you may think like, wow, Gandhi, one of a kind guy. Even to the most hated man in history, he remained polite. Well, let's see what he actually told the German people. You're gonna love this. Hitler killed 5 million Jews. It is the greatest crime of our time. Little rhyme there. Dude was a poet and he didn't even know it. But the Jews should have offered themselves to the butcher's knife. They should have thrown themselves into the sea from the cliffs. It would have aroused the world and the people of Germany. And trust me, Gandhi knows a thing or two about arousal. As it is, they succumbed anyway in their millions. So this is pacifism for you guys. This was Gandhi's pacifistic approach. Hey guys, you want to defeat the Nazis? Don't worry, I got you covered. I'm gonna tell Hitler to knock it off. In the meantime, you guys go off and kill yourselves. That'll show them. This is essentially your ideology if you think violence is never the answer. What Gandhi is saying here is, everybody, let's just be complacent and wait it out. And as we know, complacency benefits the oppressor. You are letting the trolley kill 6 million people because you don't want to pull that lever. Because you, Gandhi, if you're watching this video, want to have this moral high ground. Again, not even considering the fact that his whole peaceful protest only worked because of the threat of violence. Pacifism doesn't work. Now, I'm not saying that violence should be the first answer, but in certain situations like, I don't know, the Holocaust, do you know what ended that nonsense? The Allies going in there guns blazing. That's what fucking solved that problem. And don't even get me started on this fucking quote that he has. It pisses me off, alright? An eye for an eye makes the world go blind. This is something that your fucking mom tells you when your brother hits you in the fucking shoulder. First of all, I don't know if you know this, Gandhi. The world has more than 2 fucking eyes. But you know what? Let's ignore that. Making that argument is semantical. It's not in the spirit of the discussion. So I'll move on from that. But it's very important to note here that when somebody says an eye for an eye, they're not getting an eye taken from them, and they're all like, "Oh, you took my eye? Well, watch this." And they pluck their other eye out, which I guess it would make sense that Gandhi does believe that, since that was his solution to the Holocaust. But instead, you take the other person's eyes. So really, if you want to be accurate on a metaphorical level, the quote should be, "An eye for an eye causes the world to lose depth perception." But you know what? I don't even believe that. You know what I believe? I believe an eye for an eye discourages a fucking eye poker from going around taking eyeballs out. Alright, if somebody pokes somebody's eyes out and they're like, "Well, I didn't face any consequences for that. I guess I can keep this up." Pluck, pluck, pluck. And he's going around plucking all these eyeballs out, right? And he's like, "Oh man, this is easy. If I pluck enough eyes out, maybe I can sell them to all these one-eyed people and make quite the profit." That's what happens. An eye for an eye stops that motherfucker before he goes take somebody else's fucking eye. He's like, "Oh shit, I took your eye and you took mine. Now we're both unhappy." But hey, I'm not gonna do that again. I've learned my lesson. An eye for an eye makes the world go blind. You know how he probably came up with that? He was probably sitting there thinking like, "Oh, in the Bible here it says an eye for an eye, blah, 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 blah." I don't know the Bible quote off the top of my head and I don't want to look it up. That doesn't really align with my moral belief. Okay, let me see here. So most people have 2 eyes. So it's safe to assume that the world has 2 eyes. So if the world takes an eye for an eye, well, I guess it doesn't have any more eyes left. I guess that makes it blind. I can't believe it's such a fucking famous quote, dude. It's seriously on the same level of "I'm 14 and this is deep." Alright, but enough yapping about this. So in conclusion, pacifism is a fallacy. And while we can respect certain pacifists and their ideas and their actions and the feats they achieve, from an ideology standpoint, it makes no sense. Of course, in an ideal world, in the perfect world, pacifism is the correct thing because there's no violence to begin with. But that's not the world we live in. It makes me think of that fucking, that one meme where it's like, it quotes Batman and it's all like, "If I kill a killer, the number of killers in the world remains the same." And then there's like a picture of Dexter and he's all like, "But if you kill 2 killers, the world we live in could benefit from a Dexter." Which means it is not a world in which pacifism is a realistic belief. So yes, violence is sometimes the answer. Now, it is not the first answer. It should never be the first answer. It should not be your go-to, alright? But it's definitely something that should be considered when you exhaust all other options. In fact, it should probably be considered even before you exhaust all other options. As, you know, I argued previously, I do believe that the value of a person's life is based on their morality/immorality. So, I mean, it's not always a bad idea to kill a rapist. Lock me up. Cancel me. I just think some rapists can fucking go. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to Minecraft now. Man, baby. Alright, guys. We did it. 12 blaze powders. Next time we're gonna have to get 11 of those. That's gonna be a bitch. Alright friends, that is all for today. Don't go killing anybody. Unless of course it's for a good reason.